It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning, TGIF. I'm Philip Simon. So good and grateful that you've joined us this morning.
Absolutely grateful to be here for another Friday with you. Looking forward to what we're hoping will be another awesome show. Of course, coming up on a holiday weekend, but our Prime Minister did send us some emergency orders last night, and so I don't know how that's going to affect people's holiday plans.
Well, I haven't read it all, but I imagine that the word will get out and we'll see what happens.
Indeed. I did get a chance to read through most of it. So there's some new curfews in place in some of those islands where we saw those numbers going up. Cat Island, Exuma, they have Andros have some new curfews in place, and then here locally. He's closed spas again. He's closed bowling alley cinemas, and he has asked, that bars be closed as well. So I'm not sure how that one works, and I guess we'll see as the weekend goes on. I don't know how that works, but at the same time, indoor dining has been open to those who've been fully vaccinated, and so even as there is a restriction, there is also an opening, and so that's what's happening.
How do we know who's fully vaccinated?
So you're supposed to present some sort of card, but I think that is still going to be a challenge for many. In our case, we have a card that's been given to us. So I took my first vaccine dose several weeks ago. This makes 3 weeks now since I've had it, and actually almost 4 weeks now since I've had it. And they gave us a card at that time, and we're supposed to bring that card back for the second one. I'm not sure what they give you once you've done, because there's a sticker, but I'm assuming the sticker goes with your clothes after the first day. So I really don't know what the government has asked the restaurateurs to look for in terms of that. But there is supposed to be some sort of identification that people give to show that they've been fully vaccinated.
All right. Listen, want to give condolences to the family of the young man that was killed this week, the student. Star, every single time I kind of shake my head, I get really, even though it's not my son, I cannot imagine. And just want to say this plea again, and it's not just a gang problem. If indeed that is what happened, it's a societal problem, right? And we all play a part. And it's not look what happened there. It's look what's happening here. So I just want to encourage us all to play our part, right? It may not have affected you directly, but indirectly, we could still impact what happens in our country on a daily basis.
Yes, well, I want to echo those sentiments. Certainly, our condolences to his family, and just a devastating situation. And it's so unfortunate because it has happened before. Right. And you would think that we would have figured out a way to try to prevent it as much as possible from happening again. Our young people are young. They're literally, their brains are not as developed as we are. And we think back on some of the decisions we would have made in our youth. And certainly at this stage and age, with the life experience that we have, we would not make those decisions. But that's not where you are at the time when these decisions are being made. And so we really need to do more. I saw it unfold in terms of the story coming out, and I wonder, how can we continue to talk about conflict resolution? Why aren't we offering like real sensible alternatives to understanding ourselves, understanding mindset in our schools, right? We've been running the same sort of education curriculum for the past, 40 years, and it's not proving us any good at this point, not just based on results, but based on what we're seeing in terms of communications, conversation, the advancement in technology. Are our schools still preparing students for what the world will look like even now, given the pandemic and the shift in the way that we do business? Yeah. And so I think one of the things that I really want to encourage us to think about, and I make no pretense that I have every solution, Phil. I really don't. I'm certainly as much as a loss as I think as many people are. But in some instances, our kids are not getting at home what they ought to be getting in terms of love, in terms of understanding. And I don't blame parents, because I think parents can only do the best they can given their own circumstances, right? And so then where do we go in terms of intervention? And I think a part of that must be, how do we look at a curriculum that teaches us how to be good, civil people to one another? How do we teach compassion? How do we teach peace? How do we teach patience? How do we teach problem solving and conflict resolution? And I think I would hope that more of us are having these conversations, and that it's not just conversations, but people actually taking action steps toward helping, because we need something. We certainly do.
Yeah, no doubt. Two words: community and love, right? At the end of the day. But hey, we're going to do our part here in Bahamas at Sunrise. We've got another great show lined up for you today. We've got a new gospel recording artist star. His name is Davian, and he's going to be debuting an album pretty soon. And we're going to do it with him here in Bahamas at Sunrise. And Mike Sands is back to talk about Shanae Miller. Man, she has been tearing it up. As always, it feels as though the last several years she just continues to do her thing. And of course, Bahamas Athletics is on the move, so it's not just her. And we're going to have a great conversation this morning with Mike Sands about that.
Looking forward to hearing all of that, the new artists, and of course more about Shanae Miller and our athletics teams in general. I think they're getting ready for the Olympics now, which I think are still going to continue despite the rise in case numbers in Japan. So we'll learn more about that this morning. But we're also going to be talking with the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities in our Bridging the Gap segment. And Exuma will join us in our Island Buzz segment. So we're looking forward to a really great show. We hope you'll stay with us. Before we get to any of it, we're going to take a first look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Star, and good morning, Bahamas. In your first look at weather at Sunrise, robust high-pressure system north of the islands will maintain windy conditions through tonight. Those winds will start decreasing on Saturday, while lingering from a boundary continues to produce some showers and isolated thunderstorms over the southeastern islands. Today, partly sunny, very warm, chance of a couple of showers by afternoon over the northwest and central Bahamas, variable cloudiness, windy, very warm, with a few showers, even a possible chance of an isolated thunderstorm over the southeastern islands. High temperature 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, partly cloudy, breezy and mild. Chance of a few showers. We look on down to 74 degrees Fahrenheit. And some region highs and lows across the Caribbean. Barbados 83 and 78. In Jamaica 85 and 71. In Trinidad 87 and 77. And the Turks and Caicos Islands 88 and 74. Across North America, Atlanta 85 and 59. In Raleigh 83 and 57. In Miami 86 and 75. Dallas, Texas 78 and 72. And Toronto, Canada, 70 and 55. As we go to the weekend, luckily begins to weather-wise, those winds will start decreasing, still a little breezy on Saturday, where those winds become very light by Sunday, with a chance of a couple of afternoon showers, but temperature take time will be in the upper 80s in the daytime and in the mid-70s at nighttime. That puts you off in your first look at weather at Sunrise. I'm glad to go inside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Listen, we've got a passionate soloist and a gifted worship leader. His name is Davian. He will be recording his debut album live on June the 10th. He joins us here this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise. Good morning, Davian. Welcome.
Good morning.
Show, man.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning, man. Listen, it's always a good time and a good day to worship, right?
Yes. It always is. Always is.
Yeah, well, listen, congratulations. June 10th is the date. You're going to be doing something. But before we get into that, who is Davian, man? Tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Wow. Well, Davian is like you said, passionate worship leader. I'm a creative mind. Davian is a singer. Davian is a lover of people. That's really who I am.
Wow. How long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been doing this for about 14 years now, singing, I guess you could say professionally, singing professionally for 14 years.
So, professional singing for 14 years, you really don't, despite that beard, you don't look much older than that. But what is it about? What is it about? What is it about music? What is it about gospel? What is it about worship in particular that inspires you?
Well, I believe that worship music really brings the listener into a place that they can meet with God. And so the fact that I get to sing it is an honor in and of itself, to bring the listeners into a place where they can meet with a God that's sovereign, who is pure, he's just, he's righteous, he's holy, to be in the room with such a great king. So it's an honor to sing gospel music, and I love it. I love all genres of music, all genres of gospel as well. But it's truly an honor to share my gift with the world.
Yeah, yeah. It sounded like you was about to break out into a worship, worship leader segment there here in Bahamas at Sunrise. But you mentioned your faith, and obviously, if you're old enough here in the Bahamas, you would have grown up in church, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your home church and your faith community.
Well, I go to the Church of God of Prophecy, Mini Street, in Cordova Avenue. I went there from a child. That's all I knew. Prophecy boy. I'm a prophecy boy, and I am what you call old people children. So, my grandmother, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother and my mom and my aunts and my uncle, who really nurtured the gift in me. And my mom saw it fit to allow me to be a part of the Bahamas Junior Brass Band and the National Children's Choir of the Church of God of Prophecy, even the Bahamas National Children's Choir and the Bahamas National Boys Choir. She saw a gift. I don't know if she knew, but she really cultivated the gift in Davian, and now I'm able to lead worship the way I do. I'm able to sing the way I do. I'm able to minister the way I do. So I'm grateful to God for my faith community at the Church of God of Prophecy, Mini Street, who have allowed me to function, allowed me to travel and do what the Lord has called me to do.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, down there at the Love Center, the Hope Center, I know that very well from Bishop Aline back in the day. And all you had to do was say Church of God of Prophecy, and I know exactly what that means.
Oh, yeah.
And trust me, your parents, they always know. They always know. So talk a little bit about the songs that you've written for this album.
Wow. Well, to be honest, the songs for this album have been written a long time ago. I think before 2013, we wrote some of the songs, and believe it or not, we tried to record before. And when we recorded that night, it went well. Everything was great. But in 2015, someone broke into our home and stole the drive that all the songs were on. So I was like, oh man, we have to start over again. And I really was discouraged for a while. And a good friend of mine said, no, Davian, you gotta get back up. This is only a setback. You gotta keep pushing, keep going. And so we decided to reuse some of those songs that we recorded before for the actual project this time. And we decided to cover a few songs that, even when I was going through that time of losing the project in a sense, the songs that encouraged me. So we're going to record some original stuff. We're going to record some covers. And I'm grateful to God that He allows the works of my hands to bless people.
Yeah. When I think, again, I might have mixed it up there with Bishop Aline there at Mini Street, but certainly every time I think about the Church of God of Prophecy, it just seems as though it's always a concert waiting to happen, man. It's like everybody in prophecy can play some type of instrument and sing. It's just a gift that you guys have. Who else is working with you in terms of putting this whole project together from a musician's perspective?
Well, we have Junior Scott, who was producing the project, and listen, his mind is crazy. Some of the songs, like I said, we recorded before, but now if you hear them, you would not believe it's the same song.
Yeah.
So he really is. He's a gift of the body, I must say, and so he's producing the project. We have slate of musicians as well, some of the best in this country that have agreed to be a part of this project. And so I'm humbled and grateful.
Yeah. Can other people participate? I mean, how is it going to work? You're also doing well, let's talk about the conference later, but how does the recording work? Can people participate?
Well, yeah, you can be in the room. You can register. Same thing for the conference. You can register online at www.istwc.com. You can choose to be in the room. Well, the seats in the room are down to the last now, but we're pushing the virtual registration now. So
okay,
you can register.
Give us that virtual registration again.
That is istwc.com.
Okay, final question. Tell us about your In Spirit and Truth Worship Conference.
Well, just hearing you say that puts a smile on my face. The In Spirit and Truth Worship Conference is a conference that was birthed in 2013. The Lord showed me that a lot of worship leaders and people that participate or facilitate the worship services on Sunday, they need a place that they can recharge. They need a place that they can, receive teaching and education on why we do what we do. So that's really what the conference is about. It's to equip, it's to encourage, and it's to challenge worship leaders all over the world to worship God in spirit and truth. Okay, love it, man, Davian. Listen, man, wishing you Godspeed. Yes, thank you. Everything that you do, I'm feeling you, man, through this monitor here. And on June 10th, I know that the Lord will be praised. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. All right. There you have it. Davian Chase recording his live debut album on the 10th of June. You have the details, and you heard it right here in Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
First, it's more than just our name, more than just our achievements. It's our nature, and it's where we put our customers. At Bahamas First, we've refreshed our look, but our nature remains the same. We design insurance solutions that protect our customers from life's uncertainties, whatever they may be. We equip you for the future so that you can recover stronger. Bahamas First, what's first for you comes first for us.
The sports we play depend on the health we build. So let's stay healthy. Wear a mask and practice social distancing and hand washing to protect yourself and others. Remember, COVID-19 is not a game.
A public service message from the Bahamas Olympic Committee.
Our world has changed. Many businesses have been closed for months with little or no access to their customers until now. Rev Media can help you remain connected to your customers. Our trusted customized advertising packages and personalized consultants will provide your business with immeasurable support during this challenging time. Your customers are already watching. Rev Media can help you to remain connected. Call us today. Let us help you.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Now, persons with disabilities have the right to be treated with dignity and respect, to be free from discrimination, and the right to equal access to opportunities for employment, training, education, and healthcare services. Here to talk with us about the work of the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, we're very happy to welcome Townsley Roberts, Commissioner, the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, and Melanie Munnings, Commissioner, the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities. Good morning, Mr. Roberts and Ms. Munnings, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Good morning, Bahamas.
A pleasure to have you both with us, of course, and then to talk about, have this very important conversation about the fact that people who are differently abled are quite capable of holding and having various roles in our society. And so I want to start right away by having one of you explain to us the importance of protecting disability rights. Why is that so important?
Protecting
rights of persons with disability is basically protecting all human rights. Because, for example, older you become, if you live long enough, you will end up with a disability, at least one. So, because of all eventualities, you're looking out for your future. Because you can walk out your door right now and an accident happen and you become disabled. You can have a child and everything is okay, and a couple years later, something goes wrong. Disability is one of those human rights that should be protected because it doesn't change who we are. Remember, we are not a disability. We just happen to have a disability. We are still able to make a contribution to our societies if we are allowed to. The rights for persons with disability just helps to level the playing field.
Yes. I think that was so well said, and one that I hope that we can bring awareness about by you being on Bahamas and Sunrise this morning, because it's everybody's rights that we want to be protected. We want to make sure we have access. And so that was so well said. And so from Ms. Munnings, can you talk to us about kind of what goes into ensuring things like disability access, inclusion, and awareness in the general community? And then in particular, I know that we've been doing a lot of work around with businesses, making sure that businesses have accessible entryways, etc., making provisions for having people with disabilities work with them. Can you talk to us some more about what goes into that?
Okay, yes. One of the things I would say that is most intriguing about this commission is that there is an act that governs the commission, and it's called the Persons for Disabilities Equal Opportunities Act. And as the name implies, the act is structured to ensure that persons have equal opportunity, equal access. What is so unique about the commission is the way it is structured, in that there are about 15 persons that represent the commission. And these persons come from various segments of the community that would make a contribution to persons with disabilities. In particular, I represent the National Congress of Trade Unions, and my function is to represent employees with disabilities. There are others who make contribution from the aspect of health, from education. And one of the things that we say in the field of disabilities is there's nothing for us without us. So a part of that commission, there are 4 members that have various disabilities. Mr. Townsley Robert is one of those that have a disability. I am not wearing my glasses this morning, but like he alluded, if most persons at some point, but the fact that I need a glasses to see means that I need something to assist me. Okay, as simple as that, the persons don't realize that. So, you have someone that's visually impaired, someone that's hearing impaired, someone that need assistive devices to move. I wouldn't even see, we don't like the word wheelchair bound, but they move about differently. I like how you said that earlier, that they're differently able. So, and so what we do, we work along with the government to ensure, and the NGOs to ensure that things are dealt with properly. One of the things you mentioned about access, that's a part of our act. And we have been working with businesses to ensure that buildings are accessible, that they are accessed in the building, and not just to get in the building, but while you're in the building, that it's accessible. One such place is the restroom. You must make sure that persons with disability is able to access the restroom and to move about comfortably within the building. There's another aspect that is really important, and that's to employ persons with disability. They have families, they are able to work, they are differently able, but they are able to work and perform. And most of them are very dedicated, and more dedicated than the persons that are not differently able, because it gives them an outlet to to come to work, to perform. They have to take care of themselves, so they make excellent employees once you give them a function that is suited to their capabilities, they perform very well. Another thing, I think sometime next week, Townsley, if I'm correct, we are supposed to be launching an app that will give persons information about, where they can get assistance for various things related to disabilities, where there's things like use of telephones to assist them. You have persons that are visually impaired who can use a telephone right now. There's systems in place that can actually direct them and tell them, just like a GPS, exactly where they are. So they can travel on public service vehicles by themselves. They don't need persons to assist them. The banking system is moving to assist as well, because I know most recently, most of the new notes that are printed by the central bank have, they're readable, that there's a raised imprint on the notes where persons can, that may be visually impaired, can identify. And I think that's a real
That's excellent.
That
is excellent.
That persons with disabilities, especially visually impaired, have had in this country. And we hope that, that's eradicated very soon. So, the app will give them a lot of information to assist them. So I want them to stand by. I don't want to say a whole lot about it. To be in place for that launch next week.
Awesome.
The launch is supposed to be on, the launch is supposed to be on June 16th. June 16th, sorry.
June 16th. All right. Well, thank you so much for that, Mr. Roberts. And is there any other way that people can contact the commission, whether they are disabled and want to sort of get registered with you, or if they're the parent of a disabled child and just want some more information, how can they reach out to the commission?
The commission is located in the Ministry of Education, Social Services on JFK. We also have a social media presence. We have our Facebook page that's called Disability 242, Bahamas 242. You can also register. You can have a link to registration form on that social media platform. We also represented on Twitter, and we have a website, Disability Commission, Bahamas Commission, and you can also go there and register, and you can either email the registration form or you can submit it directly from the website. The form is an PDF form, so it is readable for persons who are visually impaired. And that's important because what is alluded to access. Access is not just a physical entryway. Access is persons who are hearing impaired to be able to watch your program, help someone to sign or close caption. Access is someone who can see, being able to somewhat provide braille so that they can read the newspaper or anything going on. So one of the things that we are promoting and pushing right now is our registration, because, as you know, we are about to go into hurricane season.
Right.
And we need to know where we are, how many of us there exist, and who needs possibly to be relocated in case of an emergency.
Excellent.
And one of those issues that we found during the last major disaster, even including pandemic, is that all information that is being sent out needs to be in accessible form. You need, when the Prime Minister makes an announcement, someone is signing, or closed caption. We need all of these forms available, so not just the so-called able-bodied persons can understand what's going on. We need to make sure all persons in the Commonwealth of Bahamas knows what's going on, so they be prepared in case of a hurricane or any other disaster is on the way here.
Well, I think that's a very valid point and an important note that we're going to end the conversation on this morning. I want to thank both of you for the work that you're doing with Commission, and if you could thank your fellow commissioners as well. I hope that as a result of your work, we have a more equitable society for all, and we have the access that you're talking about, because it's so important that everybody knows what's happening and that as much as possible, we have an equal playing field. So thank you so much for sharing with us this morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we want to encourage persons to register. Please register.
Yes, ma'am. We'll encourage them to do so as well. Thanks again for joining us. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
The Bahamas and the world has been waging the war against COVID-19 for over a year now. In that time, much of our daily life has been irreversibly changed by lockdowns, job losses, and deaths in our families. As facial masking, hand sanitizing, and social distancing have become the new norm, the team at Doctors Hospital applauds the Bahamian public for doing your part to control and contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus. It is time to take the fight a step further. With the COVID-19 vaccine now available, we encourage Bahamians to continue the fight and do your part in getting vaccinated. Please continue to be vigilant, wear a mask, and social distance. For more information on the COVID-19 vaccine, visit www.doctorshosp.com. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
Mental health is health too.
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 Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point on what we hope will be a fabulous Friday for you. I'm Anna Starsky Appalachia.
I'm Philip Simon, TGIF. Star, I love that interview with Davian. Takes there, and got to repeat it. Listen, these Church of God of Prophecy, the worshipers, musicians, it's just talent unbounded, man. I want to send a shout out to Jahali Swan and also to Robert McPhee, two of the musicians, my brother-in-laws.
Awesome. Well, we celebrate them and celebrate the work that they continue to do in our community. And I think what I love most about these opportunities they present is that they give us the space to find talent and to find purpose and meaning. And so it's not just about, working a 9 to 5, but really being able to embrace something like music as a career, right? And you're able to find that so many artists, even those who have gone, I guess, into what we would call secular music, always tell you that they got their start in the church. It gives you this opportunity to discover yourself. So yeah, Davian it was awesome to hear him speak, and congratulations to him on the album. Still, I want to remind those who are listening, if they know someone who is differently abled or they are differently able themselves, please register with the National Commission for Disabilities. Some valid points being raised there about needing to reach people when these circumstances arise, to make sure that they have been communicated with effectively, and then not knowing who the people are that need the help. So I thought that was a very valid point. So we really want to encourage people to register.
Yeah, no doubt. I certainly took note of that. Very important work that they do.
Mm-hmm. So we got more to come in the second half of the show. We'll be talking with Exuma on our Island Buzz segment.
Exuma it is. Listen, certainly, if not the most beautiful place in the world, I'm going to get in trouble with this. Probably the most beautiful place in the Bahamas when you take into account all of those keys. Listen, I want to say good morning to, again, another in-laws of mine, Ernestine Williams and Wayne, and the girls down there in Exuma, and also to Houseman on the Bay. It's back. And Lisa and Patrice are making things happen down there in Exuma.
Sound like we need to take a trip, Phil, because you got a whole crew.
Whole crew.
We're also going to be talking with Mike Sands. He's here to talk athletics, so we're looking forward to that conversation as well. Before we get to any of it, we're going to take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Star. Good morning, Bahamas. And yes, I can look at weather sunrise, tropical weather outlook. We have a non-tropical low pressure area located about 500 miles east-northeast of Bermuda. This system has an 80% chance of formation during the next 5 days. Also, we watch this organized area of weather over the western Gulf of Mexico should produce heavy rains over portions of southeast Texas and southeast Louisiana over the weekend. This is have a 20% chance of formation through the next 5 days. On the local scene, robust high-pressure system north of the islands will maintain those windy conditions through the night. Winds will start decreasing on Saturday, with the lingering frontal boundary continues to produce some showers and isolated thunderstorms over the southeastern islands. In the marine forecast today, winds northeast to east at 15-25 knots, seas 5 to 8 feet. On Saturday, northeast to east at 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet. And then on Sunday, continuing northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Your tides. You can expect a low tide at 10:03 this morning. Your next high tide is 4:16 this afternoon. Low gain tonight at 10:29. Sunset 7:48 this evening, rising 6:22. UV index 8. Your water temperature 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase, first quarter. Your extended look, lovely weekend in store weather-wise. Still a little breezy on Sunday. On Saturday, sorry, but those winds will drop off on Sunday. And still the chance of a couple of showers. Low temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s. At nighttime in the mid-70s. That puts a wrap me up on look at weather sunrise. I'm got to go inside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Well, if you haven't heard by now, Shawnee Miller-Yubo is being recognized as a top performer in the region. The North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletic Association has ratified the Bahamian track and field star athlete as its most outstanding female athlete of the 2021 indoor season. We've got Mike Sands back, president, to discuss this and more with us here on Moms at Sunrise. Good morning, Mike. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning, and thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure having you. Again, remind us once again, you're president of an esteemed association. I think you've had this role now for about 2 years. It feels as though it's been 2 years already.
It's almost 2 years. The membership put their confidence in me in July 2nd, actually, the day after my birthday, in Querétaro, Mexico, 2019. And it's for a period of 4 years.
Yeah, who makes up this association again? It's quite a few countries.
There are 36 countries, and North America, Central America, and the Caribbean, as its name implies, which includes United States, Canada, Central America, Mexico, and the entire Caribbean. So it's about 36 federations.
Yeah, so in a word, you're pretty busy.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Okay. So Shawnee Miller-Yubo has been recognized as the most outstanding female athlete of the 2021 indoor season, which just wrapped up this past March. Who would have been involved in this ranking? How does that whole thing work?
Well, what we have done is we have appointed a journalist working group, sports journalist working group that is made up of sports journalists from throughout our area. And they were the ones that put together the stats because they follow the sports very closely and to avoid any prejudice. And so we've appointed that group because we want also to continue to brand or rebrand NACAC so everyone could know what the work of NACAC is. And the working group took it upon themselves to do their selections, their voting, and their appointments. And as such, Shawnee came out on top as the female athlete of the indoor season. And then Brian Cozier from the United States as the male athlete, shot put, an Olympic champion and world record holder.
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Of course, she has certainly been just burning up the track. It doesn't even just seem like for this year, but the last several years for sure, right?
Well, you know, Shawnee is one of those phenomenon that comes around every so often, like the Usain Bolt of his time. And if you follow Shawnee's career very closely, you would know that from a high schooler at SAC, she was a great athlete as a junior. She went on to win the World Junior Championship. And so she's not a new arrival. She's been very, very consistent and very progressive in her approach. And so you know, we're all very proud of her, of course. I mean, I to be him in the first instance, but can say nothing more except great things about her phenomenal performance on the world stage.
Yeah. And the world stage is about to take front and center once again. The Tokyo Olympics are just around the corner. I believe it starts next month. We're going ahead with it. How are the athletes feeling? Are we prepared from a Bahama perspective?
The opening, I think, is scheduled for July the 23rd. And I can tell you that a lot of the athletes, all the athletes, are very, very excited about the prospect. There is some level of trepidation, of course, as you can imagine, because COVID is still very, very rampant around the world. And that's a menace that I think we're going to have to live with for some time, even though we hope that it'll be dissipated as time goes on. But at the end of the day, if you note the performances of the athletes throughout the world, right, you would note that they are peaking for the games, particularly those that will be attending the games. And so you will often hear me say, we are preparing with cautious optimism. I must say, however, that, the Olympics come under the purview of the Bahamas Olympic Committee. And so, I have to be cautious. I can't want to overstep my bounds in speaking on their behalf. But I think we're all aware that the Olympics is the biggest sports event anywhere to be found. And so all countries and athletes are focusing on that. Unfortunately, there's some distraction in the minds of those that are preparing because of the uncertainty of COVID. But I believe you will see the Olympics still take place, notwithstanding that. And it will not be the Olympics that we know it with free movement and everything else. But I think the world's top athletes will be participating, and you will see some great performances, albeit in perhaps not as full facilities or stadiums as we would like it to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, like you say, it's a different world. We certainly have to continue to live in it. The Olympics are going on. Carifta was canceled, correct?
Yeah, that was one of the most difficult decisions that we as a NACAC executive had to take. And there were a lot of circumstances that surrounded it. It was not a decision that we took lightly. But the most challenging was that the authorities of Bermuda, and we don't challenge it because it's a national health situation, national security. But at the end of the day, the critical point was that they were not prepared to, their position, as they put it, was non-negotiable to do with athletes either being vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, you have to spend, I think even if you were, 14 days quarantine upon arrival. Now, think about the logistics of that. I mean, if you're going to an event, for a 3-day event, but you must quarantine for 14 days, that almost doesn't really make sense. On top of it, we weren't told who would pay for this 14-day quarantine. So, and then they say that the athletes are under a certain age, but they wanted everyone to be vaccinated. And as you know, in our area, kids are not vaccinated. So that eliminated, I'm not just talking about the Bahamas, I'm talking about the entire area. And so kids under 18, under 17, not being vaccinated, that takes up 50% of our athletes, which is under 17 category. So there was a lot of factors that led to the very, very difficult decision to cancel the Griffith Games.
Yeah, no doubt. It's certainly it just seems a little complicated and complex. So I don't envy you nor your team there. Sinead is doing well. Are there any other Bahamian athletes internationally competing that we should keep our eyes out for?
Well, of course, you've got Sinead, you've got Stevie Gardner. He had a slight mishap a couple of days ago in his race where he was moving extremely well. As a matter of fact, I gave him a call a couple of nights ago just to check on him to see how he was doing. And he's going to be back in good form. He just had a little accident where he tripped and fell. Then, of course, you have Devon Charlton, who is really now making her name for herself on the world stage in the hurdles. And, of course, we have Padria Seymour as well that is performing, extremely well. So we've got about 4 or 5, and then we have a few kids in college that we can't wait for them to come out of their season because, we're talking about Brian Bethel out of Grand Bahama, Samson Colebrook, and there are a number of other up-and-coming athletes, unfortunately, that don't have the name recognition for those that don't follow the sport. But I can tell you, the Bahamas in a good position to put together some very, very solid athletes because the 7 of them already made the qualifying time for the Olympics. And so the excitement will be at the Beach Race National Championships at the end of June when they all must come together and perform for their slots on the Olympic team at the National Championships.
Yeah. And of course, Mike, there's always a way to support these athletes, right? Whether officially or unofficially, really quickly, how can people do so if they want to?
Well, finance is the major problem, always the major problem. I can tell you, for example, and again, I don't propose to speak for the beach race either, but I can tell you that we're hosting an event in Miami, Florida, which is called the New Life in NACAC New Life Invitational. It's our inaugural event that will take place on June the 5th in Miami, Florida. And I can tell you that the B3As is attempting to assemble several teams to participate, because this was also served as an Olympic qualifying meet. And then there's also meets in Santo Domingo. So there are a lot of areas of putting meets on to ensure that the athletes of our area can meet the qualifying standards or can stay sharp for the Olympic Games. And so at the end of the day, it's finances. And so if you were to ask me how people can participate, I would say make your contributions to not just the B3As, obviously, but you have the Olympic Association, who has to bear the burden of taking Olympic teams to the games. And so finance is always a problem. I used to say, penny makes a difference. Well, now there's no more pennies, so the dollar can make a difference. So the athletes need your support. The federations need your support.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you so much, Mike Sands, again, for joining us, president of the North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletic Association, for being here on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thanks for having me.
All right, watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Doctors Hospital is proud to introduce the Loyalty Advantage Membership Program, or LAMP. LAMP offers medical service discounts to new and existing Doctors Hospital patients. With membership starting as low as $20 per month, LAMP benefits include fee waivers for insured patients, discounts on inpatient and outpatient services, access to free imaging services, and much more. For a full list of benefits or to sign up for LAMP, visit doctorshops.com/LAMP. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
One thing, two things, blue thing, whole things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. My next guest is from arguably perhaps the most beautiful island in the world. Certainly from space, astronauts have said that the Bahamas is the most beautiful country in the world to see globally, right? From the earth, above the earth. It's the Bahamas, and the Exuma waters definitely contribute to that. Of over 365 keys makes up the Exumas. And of course, they're famous for the Exuma Land and Sea Park, and the original world famous swimming pigs. And so today we're very happy to learn more about these beautiful chains of islands. We're talking this morning with Debra Moxey-Rolle, who's an administrator in Exuma. Good morning, Ms. Moxey-Rolle, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you very much. A pleasant good morning to you and good morning to the Bahamas. Indeed, I am in the most beautiful island of the Bahamas.
Ms. Moxey-Rolle, I could get in trouble for that one, but I'm going to let you have it. You can say so. You can say it, not me.
Yes.
But certainly we know Exuma to be one of the main tourist attractions here in the Bahamas. You guys had some developments happening before COVID, and now that we are kind of not post-COVID, but coming out of many of the restrictions that would have hindered us last year. Kind of talk to us about where we see those developments going. What was happening pre-COVID in terms of that development construction, and what's happening now?
Well, pre-COVID, we saw a bump increase in activities in construction. And of course, like you said, it has been tempered, and we're seeing it take off again. We're taking a measured approach, but the construction is taking off. We have an increase in new businesses. And so, we're well on our way to taking off.
Excellent, excellent. Now, we talk about that in one sense, the fact that it would have hindered some of the development, but you also mentioned that there are some new businesses on the way. So how has COVID really impacted the community of Exuma?
Well, the community, because of the decrease in tourism, the community activities and businesses did see a waiver or stop, but we are seeing it pick up again. The residents, Exuma, luckily, we've had a demographic of people who were not impacted so much by COVID, who were able to move their large yachts, their mega yachts. And so Exuma was blessed to see some of that economic activity at times when they could come into the country. So we have been blessed in that regard. The keys, Daniel Key, Black Point, and those keys up front, further north, as well as Georgetown, we did see a trickle of tourism that did come in.
Okay, and as we talk about, I guess, tourists kind of coming back, and we always have these great conversations about the different types of tourists. So we know that yacht and boating tourists certainly would have taken advantage of Exuma. But as we talk about tourists coming back in general, and residents starting to move about again, how has the COVID vaccination rollout been working in Exuma? Have residents been receptive to it? And is that something that you think will continue to positively impact Exuma?
Yes, I think the response of residents will impact us in a positive way, because we've had a good response. Even with the team having left for the first time, we're now having more inquiries and people anticipating that they will now take it. So we did have a good response. In particular, we had a good response at Sandals. The employees were ready to go, yes.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about next. I've had the pleasure of staying at Emerald Bay again. And I started to tell you even before we spoke, Ms. Moxey-Rolle, that if you have not been to Exuma, there are no words that I can use to describe exactly how beautiful this piece of land is, right?
Yes.
But staying at Sandals Exuma, again, another wonderful experience. And so I can imagine that people have been willing to get back to work as well. Are you seeing activity there, and how is that affecting jobs?
Lots of activity. In fact, I think they're taking a measured approach, I think, too, in the employment, calling the employees back. But I would say that most of the employees are back to work. Yeah, we're seeing activities. We were in the Exumas, we had a boom around in the early 2000s when we had Four Seasons Hotel. And so now we're seeing the level of arrivals, tourism figures, we're seeing those type figures. So we're seeing a lot of people coming back. We have 3 flights daily from the US, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Atlanta. And then on Saturday, we have 6 flights, 6 international flights. So we are seeing a lot of movement of people into the Exumas.
Excellent, excellent. That's good. Now, are the water problems in Georgetown almost resolved? Because I know that was causing some challenges recently.
Yeah, well, this I wouldn't term it a problem, because it's a measured approach from the Water and Sewage Corporation for maintenance. So it's going on a nightly basis. They're doing rotation, and they have the services off from about 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. So we expect that to be completed in another 2 weeks or so.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so now I have a really hard question for you. This may be the hardest of them all. What is the absolute best thing about Exuma? The absolute best.
The absolute best thing about Exuma is its unparalleled beauty. I always call it a slice of heaven. You cannot come into the Exumas and not think of how blessed you are. So, but a close second to that is the people. The people of Exuma have always extended themselves. We have generations of repeat visitors who come to Exuma because of the people.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I couldn't agree more. I really have to get back to Exuma sooner rather than later. It has been too long. I have not seen that. I remember not being able to speak, literally being speechless as we went out on some of the keys to just go across and to see to marvel at the beauty of God's creation. It really is. It is unparalleled, and so we really want to encourage people to visit Exuma. Are there any sort of tourism promotions now for local Bahamians as well? Sort of to fly, I know we've done some.
Yeah, I think that's on freedom of the space of the beaches and the warmth of the people. So come on down.
All right, all right. And then in terms of hurricane preparedness, how is that going? Are you all getting ready for the hurricane season? And does everybody seem to be prepared?
Everybody seems to be prepared. We've been blessed in that we've not had that many like serious storms. But we've examined our shelters and we put all the precautions in place. So we're gonna hold our breaths a bit and pray that we don't have to use those preparedness and precautions.
Indeed. Now, one of the other questions I have for you is, about the Exumas themselves, right? We mentioned Standill Key, you mentioned Black Point, and of course we know Georgetown. But are there some other areas of Exuma that we should explore that we maybe have not considered?
Well, we missed out Farmers Key, which is a gem. We have Farmers Key. Yeah, so there are the keys in and of themselves are worthy to be explored by water. I always encourage people to take a trip down to the Keys and to visit the Keys and experience the beauty of the waters, the land, and the people. And then on the mainland, we're trying to generate through Ministry of Tourism resurgence in the sites that we have. We have the old Pompey slave site where he led the revolt. We have a plantation here that's a full remnant of a full plantation in operation in Little Exuma. And then we have the interest of the Tropic of Cancer Beach. We're seeing a lot of visitors wanting to see the fact that the Tropic of Cancer lies through the beach in Little Exuma. And then we also, in the Keys, we have another attraction, the swimming with the sharks at Compass Key. So there's quite a few, and we have blue holes as well. The visitors come and take advantage of the flat fishing, the bone fishing, and all that stuff. So we have quite a few attractions and interests that we are now trying to, harness the power of, so that people could, when they come, there'll be lots of stuff to do, and it's available.
Yeah, I know that I just added a lot more to my list, and I've been 3 times now, and I've not done any of the things you mentioned. So I think I have to come back again. And I'm just making a selling point here for me to come back to Exuma. but those are some great points that you shared with us. And Ms. Moxey, we really want to thank you for joining us today and for the work that you do to continue to keep one of our most beautiful islands afloat, if a lack of a better word. But thank you all for joining us this morning.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
The COVID-19 pandemic demands the most modern techniques and highest standards of sanitizing to ensure the safety of schools, businesses, churches, and the ones we love. Treeline Divine Professional Sanitizers offers state-of-the-art electrostatic technology, providing maximum efficiency and coverage to protect your environment and preserve your health against mold and 99% of bacteria and viruses, including COVID-19. With pricing to match your budget and standards to meet your highest expectations, we invite you to contact us for a free analysis of your weekly, monthly, or single-use needs. COVID-19's impact is strong, but our commitment to restoring your safety is even stronger. Treeline Divine Sanitizing. Spread confidence.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Bahamas at Sunrise. We hope that you enjoyed the show, and we hope that you'll be back with us for more on Monday.
Absolutely, and have a wonderful, safe, happy lockdown weekend.
Holiday lockdown weekend, if that makes it any better. But make it a good one. We'll be back with more on Monday. Bye.
Bye.